All right, with the clash at Bowman Gray Stadium coming up this weekend, what better time than talk about the NASCAR Cup Series playoff field? What? It's not called way too early predictions for nothing. All right, so getting right into it. First things first. If you guys are new to the NASCAR Cup Series, well, first off, welcome on in. And the NASCAR playoff field is made up of 16 drivers, which is a mix of drivers who win and lock their way in, and then the remaining 16 spots are filled out by the highest drivers in points, assuming that we don't have 16 winners. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and put up over here a list of what I would my list of playoff drivers, and we'll start off with some of the ones that I think are basically locks. You got Joey Logano. He's a three-time Cup champion, including two of the last three, and his team having won the last three in a row. I think there is absolutely no way Joey Logano misses out on this one. Kyle Larson, he's one of the most talented drivers on planet Earth. Again, I don't think there's many ways that Larson gets eliminated before the round of 12 at the very earliest. Christopher Bell, again, I think he's the top Toyota driver this year. I think he's going to come in with a head of steam, and I have him making it all the way to the championship four. Ryan Blaney, another driver, I think that has a very strong case to go ahead and try and go all the way. So I definitely think there's no way he misses out on the playoffs. In fact, I believe he won the regular season. He was the regular season champion a year or two ago, and he won not this past year, but the 2023 Cup championship. Denny Hamlin, he's a perennial championship contender. Again, no real reason to expect that he'll miss out on the playoffs. It's just going to be about trying to actually perform in the playoffs this year, as opposed to missing out on the championship. Chase Elliott, another perennial contender on one of the best teams. No, should not be any surprise that he is on this list. Tyler Reddick, again, contender for probably top Toyota driver with Christopher Bell. I think it's between those two for the best and most exciting. Denny Hamlin is kind of your consistent guy that I would put at either second or third best Toyota. Yeah, but again, Tyler Reddick, really great driver. No reason he should miss out on the playoffs, assuming that 23XI doesn't take any major steps back. And then the last driver on that list as of right now is William Byron. He is the last driver I think that is a guaranteed lock. He was part of the championship four 1 year ago, and in addition to him being part of that championship four a year ago, he is also driving for one of the best teams in the sport. So no real reason to expect him to have taken a step backwards whatsoever. Then we go ahead and add a couple more names onto the so now we'll go ahead and add a couple more names onto this list, starting with Chase Briscoe, new driver of the 19. I know a lot of people have high expectations because he did make it into the playoffs last year on a Stuart Haas Racing team, which was in the process of closing down and selling off assets. So certainly think he's a good contender to make the playoffs. I would not be shocked to see him being very good at a lot of the shorter ovals on the year. Again, it's just a matter of if he can find that win before the playoffs, and if not, having to be very consistent in terms of the points earned. Alex Bowman, another driver who made the playoffs last year, after winning a race at Chicagoland, I think, or not Chicagoland, but at the Chicago Street Course. Don't see any reason Alex Bowman should take a step back. Now, do I think he wins a race this year? Road courses are going to be a lot harder, but who knows? I could definitely wouldn't rule him out at some of the oval tracks. Then you go to Ty Gibbs. I think this is the year Ty Gibbs breaks through. He's in his third season. That seems to be the magic number for a lot of drivers. William Byron, Chase Elliott, both winning races in their winning their first race in their third season of as a NASCAR Cup Series driver. I think again this could be Ty Gibbs' year to kind of break through and at least win a race. Again, I would probably look to Richmond as one of his best tracks for a potential win. Then we go ahead and have Ross Chastain on the list. He won a race down the stretch of the year after being eliminated from the playoffs, so he did miss out on. He did ultimately not win a race before getting eliminated from the playoffs, but he did make the playoffs. and then ended up winning the race at Kansas, I believe. So again, Ross Chastain, I think he gets in. I think that team as a whole is going to take a step forward. I think they get both drivers into the playoffs, or I think they get two of their three drivers at least into the playoffs. Because we'll go ahead and talk about the next one. Shane Van Gisbergen. I don't see there's a way on earth that Shane Van Gisbergen doesn't get into the playoffs. And essentially, that's going to be because I don't think there's a way on earth he doesn't win a race. Shane Van Gisbergen, the biggest thing people that a lot of casual fans and obviously series regulars will know about him is that he did win a NASCAR race in his very first attempt at the Chicago Street Course back in 2020. Back in 2023, he won his very first ever start, and of course, Chicago is still on the schedule. He'll be back driving for the same team he won that race for. Not to mention, we've got, I think, 5 other road courses in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. So, Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG. I think we see him win a race as a rookie and lock himself into the playoffs. Then the other name that we kind of skipped over on that list, Chris Buescher, went toe to toe with SVG at Watkins Glen, um, in the playoffs last year. Obviously, Chris Buescher, was not a part of the playoffs last year, but Chris Buescher being able to go toe to toe with SVG, not to mention Watkins Glen being moved back into the regular season. I think Buescher will be consistent enough to go ahead and put himself in conversation for enough wins to potentially get one of those. And even if he doesn't, I think there's a good chance he's top 10 in points, which should be good enough to get him into the playoff conversation. So those are most of the surefire ones. I believe we have 14 names on that list. So let's go ahead and add a couple more names onto the list here. And these are going to be the last 2 names being added to the list. And that is going to be Kyle Busch, no bias here, and Michael McDowell. Again, if you know me, no bias whatsoever. He's got the lead here. Come on, McDowell, get the lead. Get out in front. He's got the nose out ahead. He has got the nose. He's got the clear. He's clear. Come on, Michael McDowell out in front. Let's go! Michael McDowell out in front of the field at Talladega. So, Kyle Busch, he is a 2-time Cup Series champion coming off his career worst year. The first year in his Cup Series career where he did not win a race. I think he's going to come back hungrier than ever. It's a contract year for him, so at the end of this year, he will be looking for a new contract with either with RCR or with someone else. I think RCR will be desperate to prove to Kyle Busch that they are the home that he should be looking at going forward for the foreseeable future. And I think Kyle Busch wants to prove that, hey, I can still win races. He won 3 races with that team 2 years ago. Obviously, last year took a bit of a slump and was not able to win a race, missed out on the playoffs. And then that last name on the list. I feel like the 16th spot, it is a little bit of a wild card, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to Mike McDowell. Again, definitely no bias. I am a big Michael McDowell fan, but Michael McDowell, I think, has a very good chance to win at Sonoma, Watkins Glen, or pretty much any of the other road courses. He also won the pole position at 5 out of 6 super speedway races last year, driving for Front Row Motorsports. A feat that Front Row Motorsports as a whole hadn't really done much of over the years in terms of winning pole position. So Michael McDowell looking very strong there. Took his talents over to the Spire Motorsports team, which has some experience winning at Daytona. I think this is the year that Spire Motorsports potentially takes a step forward, gets their second career win, and I think Michael McDowell could be the driver to get that done. So, certainly hoping for it, and hey, if this ends up being 16 for 16, I will be impressed. I expect to go about 14 for 16, which, again, I don't think that's too bad, but we will revisit this just before the NASCAR Cup Series season kicks off in the before the NASCAR Cup Series playoff kickoff in September. So again, we'll revisit this, see how close I come, and at that time we will go ahead and go round by round as to who I think makes it through. If you guys want to see who my championship four picks are, you can go ahead and check out the Lap Down podcast over on the Social Sports Pad Network. Link to that podcast is in the description of this. It's a racing podcast that I do all throughout the season with a bunch of my friends, Greg, Jamie, JP, and a bunch of others. So feel free to go ahead and check out that first episode down there, along with again weekly episodes over there on Wednesdays. So um, yep, that will be everything. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed this video. If you guys did, feel free to leave a like. Comment down below who you guys think. I'd love to see who your guys' predictions are for the top 16. Maybe we come back to this video, go through the comments, and see if anybody ended up going 16 for 16. But again, I doubt it. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed though, and if you guys did enjoy, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new so you guys don't miss any future videos or live streams. The giveaway I mentioned yesterday in my video is still going on, so feel free to go ahead and the link that will also be the top link in the description. So if you guys are looking for that, feel free to go ahead and check it out. I will be giving away a NASCAR diecast. But until next time, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye, whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody, and goodbye.